Well, look what we have here. It's back on the bench. And I made a decision what I'm going to cover it with, and it's going to be linen with epoxy resin. And where would I get linen? But let's just see. A linen basket. And Georgie girl is being very nosy on the linen basket, but Georgie's going to have to move because I looked at this linen box. Sorry, Georgie girl. Over there you go. And when you take the lid off, guess what's inside it? But a coarse linen insert. Hey? Coarse linen's what I want because I want it to look like linen. I don't want it just to be. So what I'm going to do, sorry Georgie girl, could you get off the lid please? Do you want in there? If you want in there, you can go in there. I'll put the lid on you as well. Georgie girl. She knocks us over all the time. Plays in it. Are you coming out? No, you're not coming out? No, you're staying in there? Anyway, okay, you stay in there and I'll hear you rattling later on. So, the theory is I'm going to use this linen to cover the back. Right? I'm going to use this linen to cover the back. Cut it to shape, cover the back. The issue is going to be what I do with the sides. Do I have little pleats? I am not a seamstress, so I don't know how this is going to work out. But that's the theory. Use this coarse linen. It might even be cotton. I don't care, you know, because it's strong enough. Somebody said to me about the guitar. The guitar doesn't even need a back. This way this is built, the guitar doesn't need that back. I could take that back off altogether and you'd still have the strength because of the way this is built without the back. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the camera on the stand and I've got a box full of bits that I'm going to clean up and stick those box of bits on. As far as kerfing is concerned, kerfing is important. And you have to think about why kerfing is important for acoustic guitars, because kerfing holds the back and the sides together and things like that there. But bearing in mind that this guitar is strong enough without the back, kerfing is not so important. So I'm going to use what kerfing I have, but I got a feeling I'm going to be using a lot of epoxy to fill in the gaps. So, and fortunately this all sands very nicely, because if I rub some sandpaper over it, it will come smooth. I don't expect perfection on this. If I get it working, my only worry is the plates down this side. So what I suspect I'm going to do is once I get all the bits in that I can, and maybe make up a bit, because there's a bit missing there. Plastic, somebody mentioned plastic, which I might need a bit of plastic and cut it to shape and put the thing in. But once I put the cloth on the back, then I'll glue the back onto the edges and then pull the when the back's glued on properly with epoxy, pull the seams down and do them one by one. Now here's the thing. Do I keep it natural? Do I keep it natural linen? Because what that's going to be is that probably cotton. Probably says somewhere on it what it is. Let me just see. Does it say anywhere? I don't care what it is. It just suits my. It doesn't have a tag in it. It just suits what I want to do with it. So if I put that down there, glue it on, tack it on first, maybe with even ordinary PVA glue. Don't know. I don't know. Maybe have to be epoxy glue, a thin layer of epoxy glue, I think, because I'm going to pour epoxy onto it and brush epoxy into it to give it a firmer thing. So, do I want to keep it linen? Do I want to keep it linen? Do I? What do you think? Would just keep it that colour? It'd be a novelty, wouldn't it, if it was just that colour? But it'll be colour with a gloss finish, because it'll be that colour, probably be darkened down with the epoxy on it, and darkened down when you put some layers of lacquer on it. So I think I might just keep it that colour. Anyway, I tell you what, I'm going to put this up before I do it. Well, I'll put this thing together here, put what I can of this together and do this video that way and put it up and see what you think. Keep it natural? Why not? Why not? Right. I'd love to see Stu Mac getting down and dirty like this on a guitar that's worth about £3. Right. I have a piece that's critical. Well, critical-ish. Nothing's critical on this guitar that has to fit there. Right. But to glue that to there, I want to use epoxy, which I've already mixed up. Boy, it smells stinks. So it's also in an awkward area because it has to push against and up and down to get it right. Because to get it in the right position, that's the right position. I have to push down and push forward. Now, and it pops out if you don't. So what I'm going to do, deep breath. I'm going to go back to my steady little, my fallback position is always duct tape. So the theory is, put the duct tape there. This is not something you can rehearse. It's a one time only. Put the duct tape there, get the thing finagled into position, and then tighten it up. It doesn't matter too much, but I do want it stuck to this. I do want it pretty well stuck to this, because that's where if you ever are using a guitar strap, anything like that there, it's going to be attached to this. Now, this that I'm gluing it onto is some sort of heavy plaster. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's a very strong plaster that I can't get off. Actually, it's mostly plaster, little tiny bit of wood, so I'm putting it up in there as well, because I want it all over the place. So, yes, right, okay, that's that. Okay, so now, so far I haven't got any of this on my fingers, and I'm hoping I don't. I don't know why, it's fun peeling it off. It's fun peeling it off. Right, and don't worry, Georgie girl was out of the basket, the linen basket, within seconds. So she wasn't abandoned there and left for ages. Right, now I'm finagling and get rambling. Right, so I think we've got her in position, and the knife is stuck to the tape. Great tape. Right, and pull that down. Right, okay. But still needs a bit more. And what else does it need? Does it need to be pushed into position a bit more? It does. Let me just see. All right, okay. It needs to be finagled into position. Right, there we go. I wish I had another hand. Reach in there and help me. Reach in there. That's pretty good. But what I'm going to do is get another bit of tape, put it in the back behind there, and pull that tight there to hold it. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be a ridge there, so I'm going to have to sand that off. Anyway, everything's misshapen, and there's going to be a lot of filling and sanding. But once that's, I was going to say, unfortunately, that now has to wait 48 hours. So I'm not going to wait 48 hours to publish this. I'm going to put this up now and ask for your opinions about the linen. But now that's got to sit. I'll clean up the rest of them off camera. Clean up the rest of this junk, which is going to go on because some of it is sort of bits that are going to hold other bits in places. So I'm clean that all up and get it all sorted out. Did you see anything that I did there? No. Right, because there's some bits and pieces to clean up. All right, okay. See you later. A little bonus for you, just in case you thought I wasn't crazy. I'm going to wash my sandpaper. And I wash it in a very, very special solution because I am cheap. There's a very special soap solution you use, and it's called something like that there, which you wash it in. Let me get another little couple of bits that I need to wash. And if you think this doesn't work, you're wrong, because it does work. And it saves a bit of money, and it saves a bit of waiting for sandpaper to come. Right, there's some more bits. Right. So all I do is, well, actually I should have shown that before. Do you see the brown marks on it? All I do is I just sort of use my little nylon brush and take it out. And then when it's done, put it in there. There's another one. This one I probably might not use because I know that this was done with some other stuff. But because I'm cheap and I'm an old pensioner, doesn't have a lot of money, I don't want to. That's holes in it. And you see, what I can do is I can use bits of this sandpaper. Isn't this boring? Eh? Just cleaning up the sandpaper. Okay. And the sandpaper just sits and dries. I presume if you buy the really, really cheap stuff, you can't do this because it'll just turn to mush. But I think this is the 4th or 5th time I've washed these bits of sandpaper. Although I have lots of used sandpaper, I just don't like throwing things out. I think this one's been washed several times. It looks a little bit better. Can you see anything that I'm doing? Right? Okay. Right, okay. Just needs a little bit of, I think that one's time for the bin. I think your time for the bin, mate, but your 600, which is one of my favorites, is 600. So maybe give it one more last chance. There's a song, wasn't there? One more last chance. Country song. That is 1200. 1200, 600, 2000, and 3000 are the ones I use the most. Gosh, there's no number on that, but we'll soon know. A little bit of black. This is 320 for getting down the necks. Right, so there you are. Why is she me on these next on camera? Right, okay, that's the last piece, and I think I'm only going to wash this because it's 1000 grit, and it works. I buy my sandpaper in this little box, by the way, and there's lots of gradients. It doesn't always have as many gradients. Oh, there's a 3000 I would probably need. It doesn't have as many gradients in the high range that I would like. It's got mostly coarse gradients, so. But there's another one. I'll just do another one while we're here. You can always switch off when I'm washing sandpaper. Yeah, it has more of the coarse gradients because it's just the way it sews. So I never use the coarse gradients, the 60s, the 80s, and all that sort of thing. So it seems an awful waste to buy another box just to leave another punch. So I wash. Bye bye.